What's up, guys? Mickle here, and we just saw one of the most bizarre crypto cases we have seen yet. Guys, in this video, we're going to break down a brand new case just brought by the US government because, guys, it left a lot of people scratching their head. Guys, we also have some brand new clips of Brad Garlinghouse out of Davos talking about when he thinks the Ripple SEC case is going to end, and he also is going to make a prediction on a settlement in this case. Guys, these are two brand new clips of Brad Garlinghouse. They just came out today, so I highly suggest you stick around for this whole thing. You are not going to want to miss these. Guys, last of all, at the end of this video, we're going to go over the current market conditions. I just saw a very interesting chart breaking down that we could have already seen a bottom in the market. Guys, make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see that this is big. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things are going to go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. Guys, Uphold has been blowing it out of the water recently. They have so many cool new features. Guys, if you do not have an account with Uphold yet, I highly suggest you make one using the link in the description of this video. With that said though, guys, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, I want to start out this video and talk about a brand new crypto case that was just brought by the DOJ. Now guys, this thing was absolutely bizarre and totally not what anyone was expecting. So the DOJ was essentially hyping up a massive crypto case they were going to be bringing today. They put out tweets, they put out press releases saying we are about to bring down a massive fraudulent cryptocurrency firm, and instantly everyone started speculating. Everyone was thinking, oh, it must be Tether, it must be Binance, it must be one of the sketchy players in the cryptocurrency industry that we have all known about for a long time. Now, guys, I'm not saying that any of those people like Binance or Tether are necessarily fraudulent. I'm just saying when the DOJ comes out and says we are going to bring down a massive player in the cryptocurrency industry, you assume it would be someone big that we all know. Well, guys, earlier today, the DOJ made their announcement and they are bringing down Bitslotto. Who is Bitslotto, you might be asking? Well, guys, no one apparently knows the answer to that. If you look on Twitter right now under the search Bitslotto, you will see every single cryptocurrency influencer who has been in the industry since 2013, 2015. All of these people are saying we have no idea who Bitslotto is. Apparently, it's some Russian cryptocurrency exchange that was moving illegal funds. But guys, it's just so bizarre that this was the case the DOJ chose to bring. I thought this tweet was perfect. The DOJ worked for over a year to shut down a random tiny Russian exchange while FTX was literally running a multi-billion-dollar fraudulent exchange right in front of them. And guys, this absolutely nails it. The DOJ literally has watched so many different crypto companies collapse right in front of them on US soil, and they choose to go after Bitslotto, which is a tiny exchange in Russia. It really doesn't make any sense at all, and it just shows how warped these people's priorities really are. They go after some tiny little exchange in another country where US customers aren't being affected, and yet they can't see FTX, which is on US soil, blowing up in front of them with US customers involved. It is so backwards, it's not even funny. And to make things even worse, we have the DOJ going after these tiny criminals and leaving the big ones alone, but then we also have the SEC going after the good players in the industry who are trying to do the right thing. These regulators are so backwards, it's insane. It's almost impossible to run a legitimate cryptocurrency company in the United States because in the United States, the big fraudsters are rewarded with free access to the financial system, and the good players are sued by different government organizations. It makes absolutely no sense. And guys, when I first heard there was going to be this announcement, I was like on my phone all day. I was like, I can't wait to see who this is going to be. And then to see Bitslotto, it's just like, what are we doing here? The only thing I think this really did put into the market to talk from a more, I don't know, optimistic standpoint to the government, it did show that the government is going to be willing to go after any actor in any country. You don't actually have to be on US soil. So I guess that's something. But guys, this is still all really weird. And how is it Bitslotto that gets taken out and not one of the actual fraudsters? Guys, I will never know the answer to that. So guys, with that said, I think it's time to move on, and I want to show you some very interesting clips of Brad Garlinghouse at Davos. Guys, it's pretty rare where we get a new clip of Brad Garlinghouse. Typically, he goes on air every 2 to 3 months, but we got some new ones today. And guys, he is talking specifically about when this case is going to end and whether or not there is going to be a settlement in this case. Guys, I want to show you both clips. I want to start off with talking about a settlement because, guys, this is kind of what we have been expecting as of recent. And I think what Brad Garlinghouse is going to say here is very important, so listen up closely.
So I know that the SEC had met a bunch of times with SBF. I don't know the specifics of what types of oversight they were applying. I do think this is a fraud. I don't view this as a crypto problem at large. But to your point, I think regulatory clarity globally is important. And we're seeing a lot of countries. I mean, here we are in Davos, and Switzerland's clearly one of the countries leading in providing regulatory clarity in early stage. You have the UAE leaning in, the UK, Japan, Singapore. The U.S. is notably absent from that list, and I think in some ways the regulators in the U.S. have added confusion to the crypto marketplace.
And let's talk about those regulators in the U.S., the SEC, Brad. Let's get a check-in on what's going on with that lawsuit with the SEC and Ripple. Are you nearing an end potentially? Are you planning to settle with the SEC?
Well, we have always said that we would love to settle, but it requires one very, very, very important thing, and that is that on a go-forward basis, it's clear that XRP is not a security. The SEC and Gary Gensler has very outwardly said he views almost all crypto as a security, and so that leaves very little space in a Venn diagram for settlement. The case is now fully briefed in front of the judge, and judges take however long the judges will take. We're optimistic that this will certainly be resolved in 2023 and maybe the first half. So we'll see how it plays out from here. But I feel very good about where we are relative to the law and the facts.
So are you going to wait for the judge to come out with a decision on this one?
I'm very optimistic, and I think absent some significant change in posture from the SEC, I can't imagine that we won't have resolution from the judge. I also will point out, and I've certainly something I've heard here in Davos repeatedly, is how important this is, not just to how Ripple it goes forward, but also really the whole crypto industry in the United States. And I keep reminding people that outside the United States, crypto is still thriving, Ripple is still thriving, and we should make sure we're continuing to engage non-US regulators as well.
So guys, first of all, how nice is it that Ripple has a CEO like Brad Garlinghouse? With all the weirdos in the cryptocurrency industry, with all the fraudsters and all the sketchy companies, it is so nice to have someone like Brad Garlinghouse as the CEO of Ripple. With that said, though, I think we actually did get some very interesting inside information from Brad Garlinghouse here, because he really talks about what the SEC's sentiment is towards a settlement in this case. Brad Garlinghouse specifically makes the point that he doesn't really see the SEC ever coming out and saying XRP today is not a security. Brad Garlinghouse seems to think that this is something the SEC is just not going to say. It looks like that based on what Brad Garlinghouse is telling us in this interview, it looks like we are most likely to see a decision by Judge Torres in this case. Now guys, this is something that is actually pretty surprising to me. I really thought the SEC was smarter than that and would know that this case isn't going well for them. We have seen multiple past SEC officials come out and say this was a very bad case by the SEC and they are likely to lose this case. Guys, it's no secret that the SEC is not performing well in this case against Ripple, and it's no secret that if Ripple wins this, it would be good for the entire industry. Brad Garlinghouse even says it in this clip. So what is shocking to me is that the SEC would risk losing their authority over the entire crypto industry just to try to nail XRP. Gary Gensler has already come out multiple times and said not every single cryptocurrency is a security. So I assumed that he would be willing to take the loss on XRP being a security in return for being able to go after different cryptocurrencies and kind of try again. Well guys, based on what Brad Garlinghouse is telling us here, it doesn't seem like that's the case scenario we're really in, and it seems like the SEC is going to take this to distance and we will ultimately have a ruling by Judge Torres. Guys, the good news about this is I am just as confident that Ripple will get a win from Judge Torres. It's better for the rest of the crypto industry, but guys, honestly, it's not what I was expecting. I have a feeling that based on what Brad Garlinghouse is telling us here, one of the things that's not really mentioned is the scenario we've been talking about in which Judge Torres makes a ruling and then the SEC and Ripple get together and settle after the ruling. We're going to have to see what ends up playing out here. I don't think Brad Garlinghouse was necessarily thinking this technical about what could happen, but guys, I still think this just gives us a very good indication on where the SEC stands. Right now, it doesn't look like there's any real settlement negotiations between Ripple and the SEC, And I just think that's very important to be paying attention to because it reaffirms what I was saying the other day, that this case is likely not going to settle before summary judgment takes place. So guys, with all that said, I do quickly want to talk about when we could see a decision by Judge Torres in this case, because it doesn't seem like Brad Garlinghouse thinks there's going to be a settlement. So guys, Brad Garlinghouse in another clip, the one I'm showing you right here, actually says that he believes Judge Torres will make a ruling in a single-digit amount of months from today. So guys, it sounds like Brad Garlinghouse seems to think the judge's decision in this case is going to come sooner than later and likely in less than 10 months. We know that James K. Filan already came out and said that he believes this case will end at the end of March. And guys, this is kind of aligning with what Brad Garlinghouse is telling us right here. That would be about 3 months from now. I think Brad Garlinghouse wants to play it safe because, you know, he's the CEO of Ripple and he doesn't want to give anyone any false expectations. So guys, let's hope that Brad Garlinghouse is giving us the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, Judge Torres takes 10 months to rule. But guys, I have a feeling based on what different lawyers have said that it will actually be on the shorter side. And guys, it's really starting to look like we could have a decision in this case by the end of March. So guys, I want to finish this video off and just show you one last very interesting chart that is kind of telling us that the worst of this market might already be behind us. So guys, what this is showing us right here, this dark blue line is actually the liquidity in the market, and this light blue line is the earnings of different companies. And guys, what you can see is typically in a normal recession in the US, we have the earnings of different companies getting bad, and that causes a decrease in liquidity. This happened in 2000, 2008, and also in COVID. But guys, what you can see right here is very different. We actually have liquidity dropping off a cliff, and that is forcing earnings to come down. What this means, and it's actually very bullish, this means that liquidity might already be at its worst point. It's already worse than it's been in almost any other recession, and guys, earnings are still pretty high. Guys, the good news here is that if this is the bottom of the liquidity crisis in the market right now, that could be the start of a brand new bull market, and we might not have to wait for earnings to deteriorate in order to see a bottom in this market. Guys, I am hopeful that we are already at or very close to the bottom. As soon as this turns around, you bet markets are going to rally, and guys, I have a feeling that we really don't have much lower to go. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and for now, Mickle out.